Hey everyone, and welcome to Business Boutique. I'm Christy Wright, and today we are sharing with you another Business Boutique Academy video training lesson. This lesson is really important because we are talking about how to be faithful in the small things. I know we all want an overnight success. I know we want it to happen fast and happen now, but you know what? Winning happens in the small things. Today's lesson will encourage you to be faithful right where you are. Check this out. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm so excited about this video lesson because I'm going to be sharing a lesson with you that I learned really early in my speaking career, and it has stuck with me ever since. So several years ago, I was booked to speak to a really small staff of 25 hairstylists in a strip mall in Antioch, Tennessee. Now y'all, this was not a very impressive event, even for me that early in my career. There were mannequin heads that lined the edge of the tiny, stuffy classroom. The lighting was this flickering fluorescent light overhead, and I didn't even have any type of AV help. I just stood about 3 feet away from the stylists who were seated in these small, rickety chairs around the classroom as I gave my talk. Now, I'll tell you guys, this is a great example of an event that it would be very easy to phone it in. It'd be easy to walk in there and be like, it's 25 people. I'm in a strip mall. I'm in Antioch, Tennessee. Who's gonna care? Who's gonna notice? Who's gonna remember? These 25 people, they probably don't even care. It'd be easy to stroll in there, come up to the front and be like, hey, how y'all doing? Let's just do a Q&A. This is super casual, and make all the excuses in the world to not bring it. But you know what? Going into that event reminded me of a quote that a friend used to say. He said, play to the size of your heart, not the size of the crowd. And here's where he got that quote from. There was a band that was doing a small little concert in someone's home. So it was just friends and family gathered around, but that band played as if they were playing for the Super Bowl halftime. Like they gave it their all, like they were performing for this huge crowd. And whenever my friend walked up and asked them afterwards why they did so well when they were totally in an environment where they could phone it in, they said, we don't play to the size of the crowd. We play to the size of our heart. And when you look at it from that lens, it makes you want to give it your all. Who do you want to be? What size heart do you have for your business? The great news is that when you have that perspective, you will bring it when things are awesome, and you'll bring it when things are small and unimpressive. And you know what? I did the same thing. I kept that in mind as I gave my life balance talk with the same passion and energy and conviction that I always do. But here's what's cool. In that instance, it actually paid off in a way that I could actually see. Well, later that month, that small event was featured in our Ramsey personality newsletter. The newsletter features a different speaker and different event every single month, and then it highlights some upcoming events. Well, that email newsletter goes out to almost 70,000 people. So 70,000 people received an email newsletter talking about this event. It talked about what a great job I did. It talked about how happy the people were of Great Clips. It even had a quote from the owner saying, Christy knocked it out of the park. Now remember, this is a group of just 25 people. However, as it turns out, of those 78,000 subscribers, one was the CEO of Sport Clips, which is, by the way, one of the fastest growing franchises in the nation. He read that article about what a great job I did at Great Clips. He called his event planner and had her book me for their annual meeting a few months later. This Sport Clips event was the exact opposite of the event in Antioch. It took place in Las Vegas, where I stayed at Caesar's Palace and spoke to the largest audience of my life at that point. That event was in this giant ballroom filled with 1,200 women seated at round tables. It had top-of-the-line equipment, giant screens, and a huge green room backstage for me to get ready before I came out. When I was introduced, they even played intro music to get the crowd excited. Y'all, this event was flashy and intimidating and impressive in every way. But I always want to remember that it didn't start there. It started in Antioch, Tennessee. See, the impressive things in our lives usually don't start off as impressive things. They start out by having heart and excellence in the small things. They start by having faith without the fame. The Bible even says, do not despise these small beginnings. See, when you're faithful with a few things, God can give you many things. But I will tell you, I never would have been ready for the big stages had I not experienced the small stages, the small classrooms, 25 hairstylists, or the family reunions, or the Kentucky County Libraries on a Friday night, or the school events where it was seated for 5,000 people and 2 sad students showed up. Like, y'all, I have story after story after story of the small things where I was faithful. And it was when I was faithful there that I proved that I would be ready for the bigger things. God will give us more opportunities to make an impact in the big things when we demonstrate faithfulness in the small things. He will give us the Las Vegas experiences, but only once we've been excellent in the Antiochs. And at the end of the day, it's not about the size of our audience anyway. It's not about our book sales or our Twitter following. It's about who we become in the journey from stuffy classrooms to big ballroom stages. I promise you this, God cares a lot more about who you're becoming than where you're going. So I don't know what your impact is right now. I don't know how big your platform is. I don't know how big your business is or your Twitter following or your Instagram following. I don't know how many people you have on your email list or if you have any at all. If you've spoken at a speaking event, maybe 2 people show up. But I promise you this, God is preparing you for something more. And I just want to encourage you to be faithful in the small things. Be faithful with the small classrooms, with the small stages, with the unimpressive experiences, because it's through those experiences that you're becoming who you need to be to make more of an impact. The impressive things in life often come from a lot of very unimpressive things. All right, so your action step for this lesson is to put this into practice. Just like I told you, I could tell that my Las Vegas experience was a result of my Antioch experience. I want you to do the same thing. I want you to look back at maybe the last 6 months or year or even 2 to 3 years and identify something that you did, some step of faith that you took or some action that you took that led to something you're getting to do today. Maybe at the time, it didn't seem impressive at all, but today, you can directly point back and see opportunities that you have and doors that are opening because you were faithful back then. And I hope as you identify whatever that moment was for you, that you use that to fuel you to continue to do that. I'll promise you, anytime I'm doing something today that feels unimpressive or feels silly or small, I remember that lesson I learned so early on. Be faithful in the small things. When you're faithful in the small things, God can give you more and bigger things. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you want to find out more about joining my online training and coaching group, the Business Boutique Academy, where you can get more encouragement and training lessons just like the one you just watched, well, you can click the link below to join our waitlist and find out when we open next.